Yo, I want to talk about this. Not the entire arcade, just this overview page. And I want to explain why this is probably the single worst part of the entire arcade. And if anything is going to kill Dota 2 custom game creation, it is this. I will also explain how it is very easily fixed, how other games have done it, and how we could do it with very little work from Valve. Something that I feel like my custom game team could do in about a week. Anyway, the problem with this page is that it discourages creation of new custom games. This is a problem that exists in Dota as a whole. In the Dota 2 custom game community, one of the main issues that we all face is that everything is set up in a way that new games are going to fail. There are three deciding factors for that, in my opinion. The first one is that every time Valve releases a new patch, all of the games kind of break. And so we really can only realistically work on one or two games that we really care about at a time. And then we have to maintain those. And all of the old ones are kind of doomed to eventually fall apart and become unplayable. That's annoying, but honestly, that's something we've come to accept, and that's something that I feel like it's fine. We can deal with it, right? Like it's okay. However, the bigger problem are two other factors. The first is there are no more dedicated servers being given out. So if you make a new game, it is not going to have dedicated servers, and as a result, it's going to be in a much worse spot than a game that has dedicated servers. An example for this would be actually my own game. This right here is my game. This is Open Angel Arena. You may notice it has dedicated servers. This right here is the original upload for Open Angel Arena that didn't have dedicated servers. In fact, this right here isn't actually Open Angel Arena. This right here is actually Pimp My Peon, my previous custom game that did have dedicated servers that I then was forced to delete off the workshop because, well, I wasn't maintaining it anymore. We weren't working on it anymore. And so, since this is my new baby, I wanted to have dedicated servers on this. I was literally forced to delete my old game so I can upload this game here instead and have dedicated servers. There's really no other way to actually get dedicated servers. Dedicated servers are something that are not being given out anymore. The most recent example of dedicated servers that I know of is SNOWTOWN THROWDOWN, which was given by Valve. Like, our Hawk just messaged Valve and was like, hey, can I have dedicated servers? And they were like, sure. Now, I can promise you, if everybody does that, then that is not going to work anymore. And honestly, I don't really think that is a sustainable model. So, as a result, old custom games are going to thrive. You can see right here, Hardcore Ninja has dedicated servers. Dota 2 Duel does not. Right? This makes a big difference. Dedicated servers or no dedicated servers really means life or death for a game, especially for competitive games. If you're trying to make a game like we were trying to make, which is 5-on-5, highly competitive, can take up to an hour, actually it frequently does take up to an hour, then you need servers. Without them, at some point the host is going to leave and then it just ends and the game is unplayable as a result. The next problem, and this is the big problem I want to address today, is this overview page right here. Most importantly, two aspects of it. The most popular list and the game of the day. Let's start with the game of the day. Currently we have Guarding Athena as game of the day. I think this is good, right? This is a game that doesn't have very many players. It is a good game. I've played this before, as I've played basically every single game in the arcade, at least any game that is of any sort of significance. But this is a good game. I'm glad it's got Game of the Day. The problem with Game of the Day is not the fact that Game of the Day exists. In fact, I think Game of the Day should exist. I think it's actually a really good thing. The problem with Game of the Day is the way it currently works. It seems to me like Valve has a list of games that can potentially get Game of the Day, and anything else cannot get Game of the Day. The problem with this list is it's ages old. One game that recently got Game of the Day was this one. Dota 2 Duel 1 vs 1. The last time this game was updated was on the 19th July 2015. This is 2.5 years ago. This game is playable, surprisingly enough. I did actually test it, and I'm gonna show that off really quick while I talk. This game is playable. It does, however, have some very significant problems that have very much to do with the fact that it is horribly out of date. Super crazy, incredibly out of date. Personally, I think the Game of the Day list should mostly include games that are actually up to date. Right, let me go ahead and just show you what I mean with this game is horribly out of date. This is a mode where you 1 vs 1 duel, you have infinite money, and you start level 25. However, you do not have talents. I would argue that the talents are one of the more interesting aspects of the game, one of the more important ones for a game mode like this. The fact that it doesn't have them, in my opinion, is a big problem and should kind of exclude it from the list. If the fact that the last time this game wasn't updated was 2.5 years ago is not enough of a reason. I don't mean to hate on this game, don't take it the wrong way. My problem is the following. There are new games coming to the workshop. Right, and actually, funnily enough, this game has a lot of players, right? So people clearly like it, and sure, have it in the list if you want it, right? In the list for the Guardian Arena. ATHENA, not Game of the Day. I'm sorry, it's kind of late for me. However, my problem is actually the following. In the past 2 months, we had this contest, right? We had the Frostwas 2017 custom game contest. One of the main issues a lot of the creators faced was that they didn't have enough people available to playtest their games. Many playtested their lobbies that were meant for 5 vs 5 play, with only 3 players on each team, sometimes 4 if they got lucky, but almost never were they able to actually properly playtest with 10 people. That is an issue. If you are going to make a game, and you cannot actually fill up a lobby to test the game, how are you going to make the game? Now, I'm not claiming I'm the most popular person, right? In fact, I think it's very clear I am very much the opposite. I'm a bit of an ass. I'm a bit arrogant. I'm not that nice, frankly speaking. I'm very blunt. And really nobody asked for my opinion. But during that period of time of the contest, I was part of the Mod Dota Discord. And I frequently, basically every single day towards the end, hosted lobbies for all of these people to test their games. So I playtested a lot for Carol, who made It's Greywilling. I playtested, of course, my own game, but I playtested basically every single game that people asked me to. Right? Frost Tribes, Feast of Us. Where is it? Decoration Dash, right? I sat down with these guys and like discussed their game and how to improve it. Right? I played SNOWTOWN, THROWDOWN, Frostwas Festival, Payload on Winter's Lane, Frostwas Brawl, right? Like basically everything. Like all of these games. I playtested them all. A lot of these custom game creators ended up coming to me, seeing that I am playing these games on stream and asking me, hey, can you like play my game again? I would like to watch. And I would like to get proper feedback. Many of them actually joined the lobbies just so they finally get to play their game in a 5-on-5 environment. Now, that is a bit of a problem, isn't it? Like, I don't think people should be forced to come to me, of all people, to make games. But I'm not the only one with that opinion. I'm actually going to link like a little article in the description from Rock Paper Shotgun where they interviewed Dark Lord, Carol, and Carol, by the way, if you're not familiar with that name, is Dr. Jester, who made Crumbling Island Arena, and also Vic Frank, Right, to give you some point of reference, Darklord is responsible for Festivus and Legends of Dota. Vic Frank made one of the more popular games from the, what's it called, from the Frostwiz contest. Where is it? Frostwiz Festival, which is a lot of fun. And then Carol made Crumbling Island Arena, and it's Grieveling. Right, and they also say one of the big problems was just getting people to play the lobbies. Now, this is, I think, where using this game of the day could have been great, right? You put the Frostwiz entries in there, right? You let people play the Frostwiz entries. Now, you would have to cycle it through maybe more than once a day, right? Very frequently, but I still think that would have been a nice way to actually help the creators playtest their games so they have a way to actually properly, you know, develop what you're asking from them. Now, I personally had it a bit easier. Of course, I always have people available to play with, and also my game only requires 5 people as opposed to 10. But, you know, anyway, let's move past that. I think Game of the Day is an opportunity that is being wasted. I don't know why. Maybe due to laziness, maybe due to not caring. Apathy, I guess, would be the word for it. The next problem I want to discuss, and this is what I think is the biggest problem in the entire arcade, is the most popular list. I believe the most popular list, if something is going to kill Dota 2 custom game creation, it will be the most popular list. The problem with this is that it is a rich get richer system, right? The only people that will actually be on the most popular list are people that already are on the most popular list. To get on the most popular list, you don't need to make the best game. No, you just need to be the first to make a game that gets on the most popular list. Once you're on the list, you'll stay on the list. There are many examples of this, but just go through, think of a day when you didn't see Overthrow, Dota 10 vs 10, Angel Arena Reborn, Dota Imba, GMTD, Rosh Pit Champions, Together We Stand, Epic Boss Fight. You know, like all of these games have been on here for so long. Black Star as well. Black Stars are very much a stable here now. Right? All of these games have been on this list for so long. Why? Because they got on the list at any point. I would say I feel like fairly, like, I was going to say I'm close with Yannick. It's probably the wrong way to put it, but Yannick is a friend of mine. Let's put it that way. And Yannick is the guy that is in charge of Epic Boss Fight. Yannick has repeatedly told me how the way he gets players for his game, the way it goes down is his game is actually part of the Game of the Day list. All right, it does actually appear in here. He usually doesn't have very many players. Sometimes he slips off the most popular list and then he doesn't have any players. Once his game gets back on the Game of the Day list, because this right here, actually, or Game of the Day button, it actually makes a difference. He gets a lot of players immediately. And that pushes him on the most popular list. Once he is on the most popular list, he often stays there for weeks. Because once you're on the list, you're going to stay on the list. Now, I'm not sure if this is 100% how the list works, but it is very close, right? Like it's in a ballpark. So the way this list works is it takes the first 7, I believe, most popular games and just puts them in as the 7 most popular games, right? So number 1 through 7 are just the 7 most popular games. Spots 8 through 10 are, well, actually it would be, it would be 8 through 10, sorry. Spots 8 through 10 would be, are taken from the actual spots 8 through 13, and then it takes 3 at random out of that. And I actually think that is a relatively good system for an absolutely terrible system. This system makes it so that only the games on the list ever get played. You cannot really expect people to go through here and search forever. I have, something I did during the Frostwiz contest is I went into smaller streamers' channels. I hosted all of them as well, and I asked them to play my game because I wanted to see somebody else playtest it. That is something I think is really valuable. I wanted to see if, I think the balance in the game is fine because I've played the game so much, or if the balance in the game is actually fine, all of that. So people from my channel joined their channel and were like, hey, can you play this game? They often went into the arcade and then didn't know where to search. Because this button is actually incredibly hidden. A lot of people don't even know this button exists. Like, I'm not joking. People do not see this button. Do you see how only like very mildly visible this is? If you do not know this button exists, it's actually difficult to find. Now, you have to keep in mind, when we're talking about custom games, we're not talking about people that are going to be incredibly dedicated to those games. Those exist, but the majority of people, they play 2-3 games of Dota, right? And then they're like, I'm done for today. Click into the arcade and just want to chill, right? So they're going to click into the arcade and they are already in the mindset they want to do the most minimal amount of work possible. So searching, that's already out of the picture, right? Opening, like going into this right here and just like refreshing and hoping to find something, also out of the picture. Especially since very frequently these games, and let me see if I can find an example of it. You can see right here, these games aren't actually being played. You can see right here, Dota times 100 has 2 people playing right now. This is not a 2-player game, right? Okay, let me just see if yeah, here we go. Well, I guess 2 players. Actually, it's accurate for that one. Right, but oftentimes, even though it says open lobbies, it's actually not that helpful to, like, use this. Because it's not actually going to let you join a real game and let you play a game. Because there's just not enough people playing it. You see last hit exercises here. Right? I don't mean to talk shit about those games. That's not my point here. My point is that the system is broken. How do we fix it? This right here is StarCraft 2. You're in the main menu. You click on custom. Boom. You're in the custom games. In the custom games, you can see right here. This right here is how it works. Now, I want to point out that this is actually a pretty recent update to how StarCraft 2 handles its custom games. In fact, for a very long time, StarCraft 2 had a system very similar to how Dota does it right now. But Blizzard realized that that system does not work and has changed it fundamentally and went back to a system a lot more closer to Warcraft 3. Now let's go ahead and ask ourselves, what are we trying to achieve for the custom game community, right? What we want to do is we want people to play custom games and we want custom game creators to be encouraged to make new custom games. Fairly simple, right? Like, okay, we can deal with that, that's fine. Now, the way the system works, and let me just explain that first. The way the system works is you host a lobby, and then your lobby is put at the very bottom here. So right now, you see it's Survival Wars. This is the newest lobby that was just hosted. As these lobbies fill up, you get pushed up. So whichever lobby is all the way at the top is the most, is the oldest lobby. It is the lobby that was hosted the longest time ago. Now you can see there's a huge variety of games here. Now if we go ahead and refresh this really quick, you can see that all of these lobbies are actually filling up. This right here, Galaxy Vampirism updated, 5 out of 12. Right? If we go ahead and, now, okay, let me be honest, StarCraft 2 doesn't have anywhere near the player base that Dota has, so it would be easier if this filled up a bit quicker, right? Like, but that's just because they don't have as many players. But the idea is that the most the uppermost custom game is the oldest lobby. That way, even if you're hosting a game that has never had players before, you can just host a lobby and then wait. Eventually your game will be all the way at the top and people will join. That is the thing. People are looking for the least amount of work. But it's not that people hate the idea of playing new custom games. I believe Warcraft 3 has fundamentally proven that idea wrong. And even if we think that Warcraft 3 didn't, I believe that StarCraft 2 did. If we don't believe StarCraft 2 did, I would even argue that Dota 2 did. In Dota, it is, once you actually get people into your lobby, people are very much inclined to actually give the games a try. Right? And I very frequently do this. I just have people join games. You know, I'll play any new mode that shows up. And people are always really excited to play the new modes. The thing is, people aren't excited to put work into it. And I think that's perfectly understandable. So, This way, people are presented in a really nice and easy way with new custom games to discover, while also this right here does still give room for very popular games to, well, be popular, right? There's no way how a Dota Imba wouldn't be able to have hundreds of players. You can see Squadron TD is probably the most popular custom game in StarCraft. I'm not sure if that is true, but I see a lot of Squadron TD every time I check here. You can see there's 3 lobbies open right now. People can just join that. Now, let me go ahead and go into the arcade. This right here is the second aspect that we would need in Dota. The arcade is basically you can choose your custom games. Now, what's really great about this is first of all, you just like go through, you scroll through, you look at all of this. You have in the right side, right, you have a screenshot, you have a bit of a description, and over here you can filter. So if I want to play a tower defense, I select tower defense. If I want to look for top rated, I select tower. I can do that. Or if I want to see recently played, but I want to look the newest. Right? Like I guess there aren't really many. If I want to do all of these things, I can do that. Because I have all of these filters. Now let's go ahead and compare that to Dota 2. If we go into Dota 2 and we browse, first of all, you start immediately with most popular this week, which this list right here, you may notice, is fairly similar to this list right here. Then you have top rated today, which is useless, right? I mean, like, yes, I guess, right? But like you can see stuff like this, test local language usage. Like top rated today doesn't really mean much. Top rated this week, top rated all time. All right, training Polygon better. Oh, actually, wait, never mind. I don't want to talk shit about this. Is this a new mode? Oh, this is actually a new mode. Sorry. I didn't mean to. Right? Right, but this is also not really... It's just not a great system for filtering. Like, you can see that, like, yes, I can select the most popular 3 different times, or 4 different times, and I can select publication date. But in the end, I cannot look for any kind of game mode. If I want to look for a tower defense, how am I gonna do that? Well, my best guess is really I type in TD up here. But even then, I have to scroll through this shitty thing, and like there's hardly a description of what it actually is. I mean, it's impossible to find new games. This right here is Dota's lobby list. We'll get to that in a second. So this right here would be great. This right here would take a little bit of skill and time to implement, but so be it. Now let me go ahead and host a game, just to kind of show this off a little bit. Let's host something that is not very popular. Extreme Golden, whatever that be. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and host that really quick. I'm just gonna download it. I just don't want people to join it and think that I'm actually gonna play a game, because I don't really have the time for that. Entering lobby, thank you. So I've got my lobby now. Now, I can make this public. So let's say I type something in there. I type in, I don't know, like party hardy. Boom. The kids love me. Right? Now my lobby has a name. Right? Like now people know that if they join this lobby, they'll party hardy. Right? And it's a public lobby. Now, I'm going to quit this, because it's actually like a cute little thing. If we go down here, you can see this is my lobby. And let me just go ahead and remove my face for you really quick. You can see down here, that's our lobby. Extreme Golden Party Hardy, free fall, 1 out of 6, and then hosted by me. If we would have kept this lobby up, it would have slowly risen up, right? It would have slowly risen up, and eventually, we would have gotten to play our weirdest game. And you can see that this list of list of games is a very different list, because it's always moving up, right? So the games we saw open earlier, even though they were filling up very slowly, they did fill up. And that is something you can't do in Dota. It is actually really impossible to fill up a game that doesn't have an established player base already. Now, the great thing about Dota, and this is kind of where I'm going with this, we already have a lobby list. And this is actually not really fundamentally different from how StarCraft does it. Now, this would of course need a bit of a rework, right? It would need to be prettied up a bit. And I would also give it some filter options, separated by region, first of all, right? So make an EU, North America, Southeast Asian, Asia, Africa, Russia, all of that. Just split it up a bit. Maybe not too much, right? The custom game community isn't that huge, but I feel like, split it up a bit, because you can see there's actually a lot of lobbies here, right? Then completely delete this page. Just get rid of it. Completely get rid of it. Keep Game of the Day. Put it into this lobby list. Make this lobby list very similar to the StarCraft lobby list. As in, it rises up from the bottom, so you can host games. And I promise you, those changes alone, those simple changes, will make it so that the arcade will rise and like skyrocket in popularity. There will be lots and lots of different games that are being played. And lots of new games that are being developed, because developers can now actually play games. This is going to sound incredibly arrogant, but please don't take this the wrong way. This has just been what I have experienced, right? But for a little while last year, there was basically like a whole group of custom game makers that were making these Dota 2 butt games, which were very funny. Alright, oh, I can't find them anymore. If we look like this, maybe? Dota 2 butt. Oh well. These games were never really played by anyone other than me. And oftentimes they were actually kind of almost made for us, right? For me and my group. Because, well, this was the only time where people actually got to see their game in action. Many custom game creators make games that just never got played. And I can tell you about some of them. Here, Bob Wars. This is a very fun game. This is really cool, right? You can see it has great ratings. Only 2,000 subscriptions. It never got played outside of my group of people, because there's no way for anybody to actually host a lobby for it. If I wanted to host Bob Wars right now, nobody would join it ever, because they just don't know it even exists. Something that really hurts my heart. Island Shore Tribes 2. This was a beautiful game. Gorgeous, super fun, incredibly well made. You can see right here it has this great interface. It has, like this whole crafting menu. It was super cool. It's a game that was hugely popular on Warcraft 3. And it just fell flat on its face in Dota 2, because there was no way to fill up the lobbies. There just wasn't. The game never got a chance. Almost every single custom game newly created in Dota 2 is dead on arrival. And that is just the most disheartening thing in the world. And it is something that is very easily fixed. Please get rid of the most popular list. The most popular list only makes it so that the most popular games get played even more. People are not willing to go through open lobbies and search for games, because there's really no good way of doing it. Right? You have to always load in, go back, load in, go back, load in, go back. Searching for custom games is nonsense. Because first of all, people don't even know the button is there. But secondly, you need to know the name of the game in the first place. Browsing is completely useless. Lobby list is the way to go. And it already exists. If we could just make this the main focus of the Dota 2 arcade, then I think the arcade has a great future. And I would be happy to be part of it. But as is, the frustration in the community is just rising. It's not just me, it's everybody. It's everybody. And I think that's a real shame. Because custom games are something great. Like, they can turn into something great. Dota 2 is the living proof for that. And I think if any game has a responsibility to make it so that custom games have a chance to succeed, it is Dota 2. Because you cannot deny your roots. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's a bit long, but I just wanted to make all of my points clear. I'll see you guys tomorrow.